Hello! Yep, I'm back with another one of these. Hope you liked the last one, or the last two. But now it's time. Drum roll, please, for our newest competitor, the Soul Dragon. I forgot the names. Shoot. But it's called the Soul Dragon. You can see all of its stats here, and you probably would have asked last time if you saw my videos. Where were the stats? Where were the stuff? It's right here. There's probably more stuff that you need in this, but I didn't want to add magic resistance as... Oh yeah, DI just means damage immunity, because I is immunity. So it's completely immune to non-magical damage. So if it was resistant to magical damage, would that even, what the hell? Seriously. What? Also, warning, I will curse. What the hell? You dragon? How the heck giving a dragon magic resistance and immunity to non-magical damage? Yeah, it's all fine. Really? Is it? Like, making it resistant to both? That's a really bad move. That's a really shit move. But come on. Making it immune to one and resistant to the other. I did make it a CR 13. Like, I didn't think it would be much too much. Because, yeah. But it's still pretty powerful. I didn't even get to it yet, but I also made a spirit dragon. Even worse, even deadlier. That's how these things are made. They're an amalgamation of souls. Don't ask me how they're made. They're made from the spirit dragon. But anyways, they have their twisted form because of this. Basically just means they can change their size and such. Doing so does have a few bonuses. For example, like, let me think. Well, for one, the smaller size means they're a smaller target. They can take a colossal form. That just means that they're bigger and they deal advantage damage against buildings, or double damage against buildings. I forget at this point, but basically being giant give you building smashing destructive power. Now, on the other hand, being small means your AC is probably higher, but it also means your HP and strength is lower. Having this twisted form basically means you can take the form of a little tiger and murder someone. While their dragon state is their main state, don't forget that they can take any other state. The only difference is the crying out souls of the past. I did make their intelligence 35. Don't worry, the rest are plus stats for this. So intelligence is my stat version of the soul. So it basically means with a 35 intelligence, that's 35 souls you have there. Or it's hard to say, but if each soul had an intelligence modifier or an intelligence of 1, basically, yeah, you have 35 of those. Anyways, the apprentice liches. I think I talked about this in my last video when people were probably crying out about level 30 or level 20 is already overpowered. Why would you need more? Well, first off, making higher level builds are really cool, but to get to that point, you need 20 levels in a singular class. Basically meaning multi-classing is off the table if you want this. Which basically means multi-classing is worse. But, anyways, the apprentice liches are pretty powerful. There are 3 states, level 1, level 2, and level 3. This is level 1, by the way. This is level 2, and this is level 3. I'll talk about why they're each their level, but... Level 1. They're basically the collectors of the group. Also, if you see this flavor text, they're basically undead or basically undead warlocks or undying warlocks, if you even get the reference. Anyways, so these guys are what you would call the collectors. They serve their master, the Lich. I do like the idea of Liches having to gather resources in order to become more powerful or just to stay alive like they are. In doing so, they become lazy by getting apprentices. Basically, the level 1 apprentices, they aren't even apprentices, they're just there to collect souls or other resources. Soul collection is part of their job. Also, the difference here, they also have magic resistance. They are resistant to necro damage. Their stats aren't too good. Their AC and HP as well are pretty low compared to what you'd find on a Lich, though 30 HP, not gonna lie, pretty powerful. They are also technically a level 7 warlock, as you can see by 78. I didn't give them many spells as well. Eldritch Blast, they do have Eldritch Invocations, for example, Soul Collection. It actually deals damage to the soul if it hits by subtracting 1 to the intelligence. Basically, draining your soul. Your soul will come back after a long rest, or if your class is based on a soul, short rest. Maybe. I don't know. I don't get the rules around intelligence much, because it doesn't do much in the first place. I do have the campaign idea for it, but there isn't really much to them. Now, on the other hand, their second Eldritch Invocation basically just makes it so that they gain health from this. Nothing much. 2 Eldritch Invocations. One is probably an existing one, while the other made up, because Soul Collector. Again, yours could be collecting something else. Maybe yours needs blood or such on to have your Lich survive, but for this Lich specifically, boom, just takes souls. Now, of course, them having the exact same spell slots for their level means that these 2, False Life, just gives them more life. The other one, also not too powerful. Their main attack skills are these 2, so not too good, have to say. Anyways, on to level 2. Now, as you can see here, much more powerful. And because of this, they gain 3 new spells, as well as soul magic. Again, just for these guys. These guys are no longer the collectors or the researchers, or they are, but on a higher scale. Oh shoot. So, that was supposed to be a rib cage, but it got out into the drawing, so yeah. Just think of that as white, like the rib cage or bones. I noticed this after I drew it. Darn. Anyways, they basically are collectors, but of a higher power. So, they still have the power to collect souls, but now they have the power to use them, and are actual apprentices because of this. The other one's like internship. You get the gist of the job you must do, and afterwards they really teach you how to do your job better. But you need to prove yourself worthy of it. I feel like that's a bad idea, because... Anyways, you get the point. Very powerful, dangerous, deadly, because now they can use their magic. Now, of course, this means for someone who collects blood, they'd use their HP. For someone like them, they'd use their intelligence. Now, I'm using the modifiers only because I don't want that to stretch on too long. But, yeah, it's interesting, it's intriguing. Now, for their spells, they do have the power of animate dead, like any lich should. Why don't they have it? Yeah, certain liches don't. Bestow curse, because it's a cool spell. I wish I could use it, but if I'm correct, or no, it's a different one, but yeah. I'm trying to play a necromancer in my actual campaign. I'm not running it anymore. I did have a cool one-shot where I ran the campaign, but you get the point. Pretty interesting power. Bestow curse, probably my favorite out of them. Animate dead takes too long, and vampiric touch, just play a vampire. Literally, they have a class, I think, or no, not a class. Sorry, a race of vampire-like people. Anyways, you have yourself the third level. Comparably, they no longer collect but protect. While you might see a party of level 1s, it's pretty funny because they're actually level 7 warlocks. You might find the first level apprentice lich followed by a commanding force of a level 2 apprentice lich. Level 1s don't actually use their soul powers. Again, pretty weak on their own, but in a group, pretty annoying. Having someone of a level 20, it's still an annoyance. While on the other hand, the level 3 apprentice lich guards their lich king of sorts. If the lich comes under danger, they're the main force keeping them alive. They're their minions. Having them is pretty cool. They of course have all this magic stuff. The only thing I could really do, because for some reason the powers of a warlock could only go up to level 5, but they still have their soul collection abilities, magic resistance. It's a CR8. It gains, like the other one, has full immunity to this, also resistance to acid, maybe another immunity to poison. That would be there as well. As long as their HP is pretty high now, with an awesome AC of 19. Wow, their stats are really what increased. Again, a plus 8. A plus 8, oh gosh. Maybe their soul magic's a bit cooler now, where they can, like this, they can summon soul blades with a heightened AC. See, they're more or less no longer liches, but knights. Well, there is the blade warlock or something like that. You probably know what it is, because it's really overpowered from what I've heard. But, yeah, they kind of act like that, even though they're undead or undying warlocks. Anyways, the lesser. Sorry, I completely forgot the names. Let's go back for a minute. To really tell you, I made my classes a bit overpowered. I will talk about them later on in this trope I'm making, because the entire idea here was to make classes and other things normal DMs would not add. Also, if a DM is actually listening to this, having these in the game is pretty nice. You should also have my changes, I'll talk about later on, if you want your players to feel more fun playing a certain class or subclass, like the Undying. They have so much potential to be good, but were replaced because they were pretty bad when it comes in the line of warlocks. So yeah, really, I feel like the warlock is the one who really needs a buff to their class out of all of them. Because, seriously, while they have a ton of spells, like the rest of them, they're really only going to use the Eldritch Blast, because it's the only powerful spell in their spell list. Really, think about it. Out of all the spells in someone's spell list, which one do you think is the most powerful? For a warlock, it has to be their Eldritch Blast because of their Eldritch invocations. For a paladin, it's their smites. Really, they're all about that one thing, but the literal one spell that they're good at, it's not even a real spell, it's a cantrip. Anyways, back to that. I completely forgot my train of thought there. But I make my classes a bit too overpowered, so I wanted to make the opposite with a race. Say hello to the lesser. Forced to use a hit dice of a d4, basically that means that their HP is gonna be really low. Same thing with them healing. Now, something very annoying that you can do as a DM, whenever you want, you can ask the player to roll for a intelligence saving throw, more or less just to hold the other souls inside of a lesser. Now, in a fantasy land, there was once a village of elves, small, but working on a grand machine, a grand power of magic. But they couldn't get it right. It would always cost too much power, too much strength, or too much of something, or they have too little of something, or maybe it just didn't work. Over time, they wanted to use the resources they had burned or have gone long unused for whiles. And then a spirit dragon came to their island. It's easy for me to mess it up sometimes. Spirit, soul dragons, they're really similar names. They said, "I will spare your village, but only if you grant me servants." Basically asking for slaves. Interns. Yeah, you get the point, slaves. Interns to work in his forces. But they didn't want to sacrifice their own selves. They were above that. They were the apex of the arcane. The power that is an elf. So they will not fall to such ignorant forces. So they created the lesser from the ashes and clay of their fallen experiments. Because there was one source strong enough to grant them the power they desire. Souls. Now you probably couldn't hear some of that because I used voicing that was probably pretty bad, but you get the point probably by just looking at them. They are a soul monster, marveling in their soully madness. And because of that, they couldn't leave the group or they'd be eaten by themselves. Of course, the souls act more like power source to them, but their muscles and their body also do that. Of course, gifting them more soul energy, the power of the soul to move around. Over time, unless they find a different way, like eating, to gain power back, they'll slowly die. Now, if you didn't know, dragons have a record for unobedient interns. Rebellion, basically. Because of that, they have this. Literally. All soul dragons now formed from the spirit dragon, now shipping lessers to them to use, to gather more souls or so on. They need to, or else they'll die, because they have no other way to live. They don't know any other way to live. So yeah, powerful if given the chance, but they weren't actually that strong. Most of their purposes are either to gather souls or make more of them. They're really in a bad set of life choices now. Their lives are going pretty downhill. But now, let's talk about this corner. What does it mean by soul power drain? So, soul power or soul energy is the strength that they use, and because of it, it slowly drains. Unless you're a player, you can make that not drain if your DM allows it, or make it only drain when you have to make a saving throw. Now, soul power on its own is pretty cool. As you can see here, it comes from their hands, their palms, really. It gives them an extra boost of power. For example, you can gain a boost, a +1 to certain things by using up soul energy. You can recreate weapons if you throw them, and your DM actually keeps track of that. You now have 2 more knives to keep throwing at people, or if they keep track of arrows, you have more arrows. Of course, they're not magical, which means they're kind of better. Of course, there's more level up bonuses as you go. On top of that, you can shoot projectile soul blasts. If you form them into an arrow and use them in a crossbow or bow, it'd probably be a bit better. But having a close range soul blast as a bonus action, well, that's awesome. Now, you can do other such stuff like create a wall of soul energy, which takes a lot of your soul energy. It really drains you. Maybe give an extra boost of 3 to your attacks. Now, I'll talk about an evolution to them called the Craters. Basically, enhanced versions of them to do more specific tasks, or be better in certain ways. But at level 20, they are pretty powerful in the grand scheme of things. They have their own version of Rage at some point, where they gain a soul pal, really, who helps you in battle. Powerful, but it drains a lot of soul energy, meaning you need a lot to drain. Anyways, it's that time already. Oh, wait. Yeah, right here. Okay. I have the turned off. Spin that wheel! And Druid. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did this one time beforehand. And I got Ranger. I didn't do it because it wasn't on camera. But do you know how I feel? Like, seriously, the only thing that a subclass doesn't do for a druid is basically just it gives them bonuses to their power of shapeshifting. Really? Really? That's it? I think, like, more, like, powering up your shapeshifting, maybe? Like, seriously. All they do is just shapeshift. Like, maybe casting spells while shapeshifted. It's interesting, but that's pretty high up. Where did the timeless body come from? It's like the one thing that doesn't go with the rest. And at level 20, while you can use the effect unlimited, seriously, not too good. Not good at all. So I made these. I gave them names. Timmy Tom 2. basically Timmy Tom Jr. So, TJ, if you want to. But I like the word Timmy Tom too, because they're all T's. And Dagger. Now, I just wanted to add more lesser into this. There's their soul stuff and such. Do you like the artwork? It was based off an actual artwork, but in my defense, looks much more different, right? Like, they have their wand there. I actually really like how I did the face with all the flaming stuff, flaming hair. So I did revamp an existing subclass, because I wanted to learn more about the subclasses and such, because, you know, I want to do that and stuff. I want to use them. So I found the worst subclass there was and wanted to upgrade it. And that being on a scale of 1 to 4 stars, 1 being red, 4 being blue. I found it on a site called RPG Bot. Whoever made the thing for that, if it was AI built, that's a good amount of emotions. It wasn't really as AI as I thought it would be, because it's called RPG Bot. It didn't feel like an AI. But I'm getting off topic again. Say hello to the new and improved Circle of Dreams Druid. Now, for their level 2 effect, from what I heard, it gave them extra temporary hit points, which sounds pretty good for something of that level, but it's temporary hit points, and if it actually does heal the person normally, you can completely just ignore this part. But I basically made it so it takes someone who's knocked out, who's dreaming, and revives them. Basically, it completely makes them go past that stage and revitalizes them. So basically healing, it's nice healing for a low level power. If it did give temporary hit points, it could be nice if you could choose between that. Like, if they were full health, give them temporary hit points. It's interesting. So for level 6 was pretty bad. For something called the Heart of Moonlight and Shadow, they literally said it was a rope trick. What the seriously? How does that have anything to do with the Moonlight and Shadow? Maybe the effect clears it up a bit more when you actually read it, but I don't have the liberty of having the book for that. But what the actual F? I'm not gonna say it, but how the heck are you supposed to take a dream druid and give it rope trick? You probably have a wizard on the party already, a sorcerer or some class who already has rope trick. So why do you need a druid for that? So I revamped that to be a bit cooler, but actually keep a bit of its original rope trickish stuff. Shadowy hands. Yes. Basically, well, it doesn't take actual concentration to do this, which means you can use the spell multiple times. They're basically shadowy hands, but once you tell it to do its task, it will complete the task, sail on for a while, until you want to disable it, or such. But once you tell it to do its task, it will not do any other task. I'm unsure if I want this to be more cantrip-like, or it actually takes a spell slot to do. Now, having the power of multiple shadowy hands, because you can use this multiple times at the same time, is pretty cool. Like, hand, stand still for 10 seconds, and lift us up afterwards. Easy. It's like a full party elevator of sorts. On the other hand, hold person with mage hand. Now, you can give it complete, really complex commands or such. And that's really what makes it cool. Wow. Water manipulation is pretty overpowered, not gonna lie. It's basically that, but with only hands. Only the hands. But only animated. It would like the power to make it so the hands can be like some sort of casting element. Like, if you're out of your casting range, you can like summon a shadowy hand, and it casts the spell for you. That's really cool. Now, saying it would only cast one spell is still pretty overpowered. Let's actually get into the bonuses I would give if I actually had choice to go for just Druid, not some subclass that I'd like to upgrade. Oh right, Dreamer. Basically means you... So if you have seen this person called Pointy Hat, I actually watch them a lot. Warlock, liches, please, next. But, you get the point. Dreamer, if you've watched them before, you understand that what this is, if you've seen the video that they've made about it, but you should probably watch that, because I won't explain it well. You basically have a dream form and a real form. Now, this is only for the Feywild, so everyone else doesn't have it, but you do. It's a dream form. You are literally the circle of the dream druid. That works well. Like, just giving them the power to, like, have themselves a dream form who can fight on the front lines and have their actual state fall back. Like, that's pretty cool. Maybe make it so there's a certain range of sorts that it can be used with and such, but basically you can dream and still have a form that fights. Now, of course, you'd break concentration if someone hit you, but it's a pretty interesting power, as well as you losing your Dex mod bonus from that. Now, a few bonus. So bonus power just means a bonus effect added whenever you change shape. Like, you gain a vampiric bite without being a vampire. Or maybe you become much faster than normal, stronger than normal. Or maybe you have stone vision. That sounds really overpowered. Or maybe you suck the souls out of their bodies. Delicious soul essence. Or maybe it's that you can have a set spell of revival. I don't know. DMs, you come up with this stuff. Like, I'm just giving you some hinters to use so. Also, I really just want to create this because I feel like once you get to level 20, there's still challenges out there, like Tiamat, who you can try and defeat, but how do you get to that point? For a Demon Lord that I know, it has a CR of 24 or 26. Maybe it was 28? No. But it's higher than the highest level. So yeah, I did this. So at level 28, monster shape basically allows you to take the shape of one monster you're choosing. It's very overpowered. Sadly, neither of the other effects will effectively work on this. I mean, once you're in your monster shape form, you gain no other bonuses to this form. It's just there for those people who want to become an actual owlbear, if you've seen the movie. But at level 37, twin shape. Now this is powerful. You can gain certain effects from one to give to the other. Basically meaning, take the wild shape of a bear or something. You have your elk horns or elk rush stuff. Interesting power boost. Maybe stuff from yourself, like fire resistance or you get the point. Bonuses from one point to another. Now I know yourself isn't wild shape, but you get the point. Pretty cool. Also, that says author. It was supposed to say other. Anyways, it's gonna be the end for this video. Like if you liked it. I probably should have made this much faster, but I don't really care. Bye!